like him.
Valderrama's in this fucking show? Since when? Tom Cruise, not Tom Cruise. Tom Hanks is a piece of shit.
Now he's just smacking the mic.
I saw.
Love it. What kind of shoe jobs?
What?
Like, what kind of shoe jobs?
I think she said union jobs.
I did say union jobs. Jake, what's up with you today, dude?
Yeah. Will Ferrell is a pedophile. I started Yakuza.
How was it?
I only played
which Yakuza?
Kizawi, the first one, the remake of the first one.
Why'd you say it with that weird accent? It wasn't even like a.
Because I don't know how to say. I don't know if it's Kazawi or Kiwazi, or it's
fair
like,
enough.
It's
I don't know either. I haven't played any of the Yakuza games, but I've heard that they're like a fun series to play.
Yeah, it's very Eric. It's very like press square for the next 8 hours, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean that basically was It Takes Two. Was like, we're gonna press forward and this button, occasionally this other button. Like,
well, they had like puzzles in it, so it made you feel like you're actually doing something. The first level I played, it was just like press square over and over again until everyone is dead, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just beating the shit out of these.
Well, that's like
dudes.
Basic hack and slash setup, and I bet like press triangle for a strong attack kind of ordeal.
Yeah, it became that, and then it was like you can grab weapons and shit, so it got a little better. That's cool.
Gotta start somewhere.
I feel like they kind of gave me everything in the first level, so now it's like, all right, how many times can I throw a chair at somebody?
A lot. Maybe 40 hours worth of times. Maybe another 40 hours worth a week later.
There's no way this game is 40 hours. I'd be very surprised.
I don't know when the first one came out, so depending on the console generation, that might be true. But
like PS2, I guess. I think
it would be a long-ish game. Like there were like obviously like technological constraints. The PlayStation 2 is like the first one that you could on one disc make like a big ass game. But even as far as back as PlayStation 1, they just made you load in a new disc. It was like Final Fantasy VII, the original's 3 discs.
I mean, it just doesn't seem, I don't know. I don't think it's that type of game, to be honest.
No. Well, I'm just saying like 40 is around the standard at this point in time.
Maybe. Yeah. So I'm thinking back then.
It'd probably be 2030.
Yeah. I don't think, I mean, probably now.
Given that they assume that you are going to spend some time on side quests.
There are side quests, which I didn't realize. I thought it was just like a linear thing. And they're like, well, if you do side quests, you can gain this and this. I'm like, fuck. It was either that or I start Dark Souls. And of course I pussied out and I got Yakuza. Are you, how many hours are you into, what you call it?
Elden Ring? I haven't played a shit ton of Elden Ring. Well, because basically I've been mad busy this whole week. And so I get home and I know like I only have a few hours, and because I know I only have a few hours, I don't like progress the story. I just explore and like do shit like that. So I've done like probably most of the side quests in Limgrave, the first area, and I'm probably on the cusp of like the boss at Stormvale Castle, but like I guess I've probably played 10 hours, but most of that's just like hour-long chunks, hour to 2. When I get home before I like need to make the decision, because I'd play it all night
if you could.
Yeah, but it's like I do need to be able to function tomorrow, so I have to at least try to stop. But there's the first like boss that gets a cinematic, because there's a lot of optional bosses, and there's a lot of like that's always been a little bit of a distinction. Not every time, but in Dark Souls stuff. Boss areas where bosses have like a cinematic introduction, and it's typically just like a quick thing they say a couple sentences about, and it provides some lore elements and whatnot.
Right.
But the first one, it's Margit the Fell right before you get into Stormvale Castle. Dude's rough for a start boss. Like most of the time it's like I'm just a little underleveled. That's it.
Yeah.
But he actually has like a pretty complex move set, and I think in this they always scale bosses to if you've summoned people and how many people you have summoned to help you. But like in the previous games, at least if you had like a person who knew what they were doing or had already beaten the boss once, like whenever I do, and I'll probably this weekend I'll start doing a co-op with my friend Quentin, who's also mad into these games. Whenever we would do it, it would always kind of feel like, oh, this is a little bit too easy now. It was like, if you both know what you're doing, it's not like, oh, we breeze through the game, but it's like all the boss challenges is kind of out of it.
Right.
But I beat this one. I tried a couple times, tried to help people a couple times, like be the summon, and all those groups that I was in were just getting like slaughtered. And I was like, geez, this feels like it's way too high level for where I'm encountering it. And then had the idea like, oh, I'll try to fight it just solo because I know that scaling thing that they do. And like I got so much closer to beating it. And then this was Sunday or Monday night. Just was like, I got so close to just beating him in an outright duel. I spent like the next like hour just being like, I'm going to do this tonight. And I did, but when I finally did it, I was just like, fucking yes! Like it was such a good feeling. But it's also like an early boss, which is like,
it's very demoralizing for the rest of the game.
No, it's exciting because it like oftentimes in video games stuff tends to get like easier. Even the other Dark Souls games, as you level up, you get more developed. Your character gets more developed. You get better at the game. And Dark Souls has always been good because it doesn't get too much easier, but it does still, like, once you're good and you have good levels and you're doing decent damage all the time, it does feel like it starts to ease up a little bit. It's mostly because, like I said, just shit's going in the right direction. But I've read that this game doesn't necessarily do that. And I'm like, if every boss is like this, I'm super fucking excited. Like,
I can't.
It's so fucking, it's such a feeling of satisfaction to actually, it feels like more of an accomplishment than any other game like I've ever played when it's
Excited
like, you fucking
to just
did
get
it. Yeah.
pissed off.
But it's the thing, I don't get angry. I've never really gotten angry at video games, except like, I got angry at sports games. When
you get angry at 2K all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, because sometimes shit doesn't happen. Like shit that doesn't happen in real life suddenly happens in like Madden and 2K, and it's like I don't understand. Like, there's what frustrates me in this new Madden is, you know, there's a throwaway mechanic. If you're under pressure and you don't see an open receiver, you tap R3, like hit that in, throws the ball out of bounds. And there's a penalty called an intentional grounding, meaning if you don't throw it, for the audience, if you don't throw it near enough to a receiver or beyond or outside the pocket, like you can throw it basically anywhere outside the pocket. But if you're in the pocket, it has to be like in the area of a receiver. Then you don't, then you get this penalty. You go 5 or 10 yards back. I don't quite know. And it's a really rare penalty in football because almost always there's like a sideline that like a receiver's by. You throw it over his head just to make sure that it's not an interception, and the world goes on. It really happens only a couple like a handful of times a season. Right. But in this fucking game, every time I do it in Madden, it like there'll be like 3 guys stacked that way. Anywhere in that direction and to the right of the field will be perfectly acceptable to throw, and I will not get a penalty. This motherfucker always throws it where nobody is, and it's like, no NFL quarterback does that. Like, even on times where they throw this penalty, you can see, like, you can hear the announcers be like, yeah, they're not quite close enough. Like, they were trying still to throw it towards someone to not get the penalty. Right. The game is just like, no, if you hit throw away, it means give me a 5-yard penalty.
So you got penalty every time.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not like I throw it away often, but also it's like I should be able to use this game mechanic and not get penalized literally every time I do it. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's not how that works in the NFL. And the saving grace of sports games releasing basically the same game every year is typically they get better, more realistic, close to reality. Like the mechanics become smoother. And in 2K, they keep doing that. I've not gotten a 2K game. They knock it out of the park every year.
Yeah.
The past like 2-3 years, Madden, it's been wildly disappointing. Like
I've never played Madden, so I don't know. But 2K
I used to play.
insane.
Yeah. 2K's always the shot mechanics are always smoother, the dribble mechanics are always smooth. Like everything gets better in 2K.
The lighting in 2K always blows my mind. Like all the shadows are on point and exactly where they need to be. Like you literally feel like you're at a basketball game.
Well, I think part of that is like the blessing of blessing in disguise of Madden getting like the solitary NFL rights for video games. Like back when 2K Studios, they also made NFL 2K and stuff like that. Like the Madden series, EA got exclusive rights from the NFL. So suddenly like 2K Sports couldn't do those games anymore.
Oh.
Basically, they were just like, we're going to spend mad money to just not have a competitor. And they did. But then suddenly it was like, okay, so we can't compete in the NFL anymore. We can't make football games anymore. So all of 2K Sports,
though.
No, but like they were just like, what's our next biggest game then? NBA. We're just gonna make the best fucking all the resources that were like at one point split between the NBA and the NFL went all to the fucking NBA games. So suddenly it's like we have a video game type that like wasn't as big as the football games. Suddenly there's like this flagship that's like a standard bearer and continues to be.
Does
I think
EA
because they don't have
basketball games.
Yeah, and no one fucking buys them.
Right. That's
like,
awful.
They still do live, right? NBA Live.
Yeah, NBA Live. Yeah, but like no one fucking buys them. And
I remember that switch. Like there was a time where NBA Live was 2K. Like it wasn't 2K. It was just like the culture was like, oh, we're gonna play NBA Live. And then I remember when all of a sudden it switched.
Just because they made a better game. Like part of why I think they EA bought spent all that money to get the Madden rights is because there were also people who were like, Madden. I don't think Madden ever lost like the game sales stuff to NFL 2K, but they were close, and a lot of critics were like, the 2K is technically the better game. Like if they're competing in this tight market, and it's like Madden has the bigger name recognition, and they also have John Madden like licensed, so there's just a whole lot going for it. But there was times where they're like 2K5 was the better football game this year. Like, and so I think they did it specifically to avoid having to actually compete with someone.
So basically we're playing a worse game because they decided to buy out the competition in a way. Because
EA is one of the first big game studios.
They should have just like hired that studio, but not all of 2K, but like the team that was working on that. If they were going to do all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like what Budweiser does. They realize like a lot of people are way more into craft brews. So nowadays, instead of like the reason that they don't make like, they do occasionally they'll make like a special Budweiser flavor and stuff. It's typically like what
lime or whatever.
Like, yeah, but like nowadays, Anheuser-Busch just goes around buying microbreweries and being like, you don't have to change, but here's a lot of money so we can get a percentage of it. Like, you could have done that. Like, 2K wasn't a giant studio, I don't think.
I just feel like it's also better when there is competition. That's just in every aspect.
Typically.
You know? Like, do you think, did we start the pod?
Stop the work and fucking hold for everything.
Welcome to the Hold for Everything podcast. This is episode.
I've been running
It's fine. Just you can keep whatever it is that you decide to keep from this conversation.
I think it's fine. We'll just we'll do a funny little thing where I'll play the intro music. We'll have this whole video game conversation, and then you'll say "Welcome to Hold for Everything" podcast, and I'll just play the intro music a second time.
Or it's just the music playing over us talking about Elden Ring, and the NFL.
on loop until it hits the time mark.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah.
And I was like being super careful not to make a noise because I was rolling a joint. And I know that like we can see it in the top, but on the record, you can't. Like it's just a one screen. So I was like, don't make a noise. Just keep it.
Yeah, roll up the joint. Have you ever smoked on the pod?
No, because here's the thing. I think
YouTube will fuck us up. Who cares?
Yeah, because we're in New York and it's still in that spotty, like, oh, it's legal, but it's not legal yet kind of situation.
I don't care. Nobody cares. Anyway, what were we talking about? Competition it creates a better environment altogether. You know,
not universally, but like for these things, for products, I think it makes a better environment.
Well,
I don't think competition in like every workplace is a good thing.
No, I guess I meant entertainment, video games. You know, you
want a sense that you have to do better than something. Like it just what it guarantees is a lack of complacency.
It's capitalism at its finest.
Well, I watch wrestling and that's what we all kind of thought would happen when WWE had some sort of competition. But
don't they have more competition now than they've like ever had before?
Well, I mean, there's way more wrestling now than there was before, but there's only one major competing company on TV on a national channel.
Yeah, but isn't WWE like losing wrestlers to that company? I thought I saw a bunch of headlines about that.
They're losing wrestlers, but WWE is making so much money. They made so much money off the pandemic, and they make so much money off of like these Saudi Arabia shows that literally nothing matters. So they can get rid of all. I think they're getting ready to sell. So they're
Don't
getting
know who that is.
Who?
Whatever name you just said, to sell.
I said I think they're getting ready to sell.
Oh, I thought you said I think they're getting rid of DeSell, and I was like, I have no fucking clue who that is.
No,
but to be fair, you could have said like a real wrestler, and I would probably still have that response. Like,
I wouldn't do that to you. That's not. If I do talk about wrestling, it'll be in the most vague and like broad way. No,
I like the Polynesian wrestler.
No idea who that is.
I think he's The Rock's cousin.
I was about to say, do you mean The Rock?
No, not Roman Reigns, his cousin.
That's Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but they have more relatives, and they used to be a tag team, and he's got long hair, and he dates the girl wrestler that's like glowy. She's like glows in the dark.
Yeah. It's either Jey Uso or
Jey
Jimmy.
Uso. That's it. That's him.
They both look the same. They're twins.
But I like Jey. That's the one I like.
All right. Anyway,
nice.
Well, since we're talking about wrestling, the competition AEW, there's rumors that they're going to jump to HBO Max and have some sort of a streaming service with them. They just bought out a really big independent company, Ring of Honor, and now there's rumors that HBO Max is going to let them stream on there.
That's what ROH stands for.
Where did you see it?
I have a bunch of friends that watch wrestling, and so I'll see like tweets and Facebook posts just talking about. It's like I knew it was wrestling, but it's just like ROH wrestling, and I know it's all of them are three like just initials.
Right. So sometimes you just don't even know what the fucking difference is.
Yeah, I don't know what AEW means. I figured the W means wrestling, but like.
Yeah, you got
athletic entertainment wrestling. Like,
it's all right. But like, if I told you, it'd be a long explanation anyway. But
it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is like it didn't occur to me. Like there was nothing in me. I was like, I gotta find this out, man. Because like I said, I'm not into wrestling.
But you had friends that were posting about it, about the Ring of Honor.
Well, yeah, just over time. Like.
I see.
In a general sense, I remember reading their posts that just said ROH wrestling, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. Sounds weird, bro. And then turns out it's actually a thing.
It's a thing.
The Jaguars owner bought them.
The Jaguars owner is the owner of AEW, and he bought Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Because over the pandemic, so basically what happened, to make a long story short, a lot of the the reason that AEW started was because of a lot of the big names that were in Ring of Honor. So because those big names left and then they got hit by the pandemic, Ring of Honor ran out of money and they pretty much went bankrupt. And then, you know, they were pretty much done as a company. And then on Wednesday, Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, was like, I bought them, motherfuckers. And like, it's a big deal in like the wrestling world, but you know, I mean, it'll be interesting. We don't have to keep going about talking about it because I know you guys don't really watch wrestling, but I just thought the HBO Max thing was interesting because WWE has Peacock. AEW, I guess it's not official yet, but they're going to have HBO.
I was gonna say, I think that would be pretty big because, like you said, that WWE basically runs unchecked. Like the AEW, ROH, and all them were like a tier below, and then WWE was like the big mainstream guys. Right.
Basically.
So suddenly, like another player having like a connection like HBO is pretty fucking big. I think. Yeah,
that's huge. Not only that, they're gonna have like the entire library that Ring of Honor had, and Ring of Honor's been around for like 20 years. So it's not AEW's only been around for 3 years. So if they do go on HBO, it's like, okay, we're gonna have 3 years of footage, but now it's like, no, you're gonna have 20 years of footage of this smaller company that, you know, people did used to watch.
Well, you could also, if they're savvy, you can just steal the sects, groups, things.
Well, apparently
WWE
is like shitty to their wrestlers. So like if you get a big enough audience where you could pay the same as WWE, that's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean that's a big reason as to why the wrestlers are leaving, because it's like, okay, well, I can get paid the same from this billionaire who owns a football team somewhere else where everyone's treated nicely. Like maybe not as many people are watching, but I'm going to get paid the same. And like, I can have a Twitch channel and I can have a YouTube channel and not get yelled at by some old 75-year-old man who doesn't understand the concept of
Which
like
is so
Twitch
weird because they have, they do those reality shows now. So like, it's so weird that he doesn't allow them to have that.
Well, he gets a piece of those reality shows. When they do Twitch, he doesn't get a piece of it. So
that makes sense.
That's what he doesn't like. And he also doesn't like when Vince doesn't like when wrestlers get a lot more popular than like the company itself, because then it becomes they're bigger than the company, and then they can kind of, you know, they can ask for a certain amount of money. They can threaten. Yeah, but Cena, you know, Cena's not going to go to a different company because now he's like, he's a movie star,
big time movie man,
right? So
does he still wrestle
every now and then? You know, Vince will pay him $1 million to come back for 2 months. Like, you know, it's no big deal. But a lot of them don't come back because just in case they get injured. That's why The Rock never shows up, because he's filming 365 days a year, and you know, even if he wants to come back, it's like, okay, if I get hurt, there's like 2 movies that are kind of fucked now.
Did you know that The Miz got famous from the real world?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until like this year. I was like, oh shit,
I don't even know who that is. So
great. Wonderful.
I did see an interview with John Cena, because I guess before Cena was a movie star, he called out The Rock for like not wrestling as often.
Yeah.
When The Rock started making movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was a recent interview. I think this was before
like, they feuded on TV, but he has later apologized to The Rock. He's like, now I understand.
Yeah, exactly. That was basically the interview where the guy brought that shit up, asked, like, now you do movies. Do you like have a... And Cena interrupted and was just like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking hypocrite. Yeah. But it's because I had no idea. Like I had no idea. It's like I'm suddenly like, now I wasn't on sets. I wasn't doing these things. Now I am doing these things. And I realize what he was realizing back then was these are multi-million-dollar productions. And if I'm get hurt, that delays everyone else's time. If I get hit in the face and get a black eye, that delays everyone's time. If I like all the things that come with wrestling can drastically fuck a budget on a film, basically.
It's
like,
not. It's even more than that. It's like if you realize you can get paid 5 times the amount working as a wrestler for 3 months and getting paid not as much, you're gonna, you're just gonna do the math on that. Like, it's nothing against where you came from. It's just like, I'm kind of dumb if I don't do this movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like what you guys say about the union. It's basically that.
Yeah,
like
you're literally about to say, like, I can't imagine being in a situation where I can make some better money than I currently am and turning it down. Can you, Eric?
No, but I mean, that's really what's so. I mean, to end this wrestling conversation, yesterday I did like my first PA gig in a while, and I'm sitting there in the van in the truck, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm making $225 to sit in this truck. I just ran around. Like, I don't mind driving the truck. I love driving the truck, but it's also just like, this is chump change now compared to what I just made for the last 3-4 days. And people are, I don't really care, but you'll get an attitude here and there. And I'm like, dude, I'll leave this truck right here. I'll go home. Like, I mean, I never.
Isn't it so much nicer to work on sets where you just have that attitude, like like things are okay for you right now, so it's like, I don't need this actually. That's
basically what happened. I'm like, I'm talking to this. I'm like, I just got a 5-day gig. The hall called me 2 minutes ago. You're giving me attitude. I'm about to make more than you, and you're the producer of this movie. I'm gonna make more than you a day for the next 5 days, and I'm gonna work for like 3-4 hours rigging a set, and then I'm gonna go home and have 12 hours of my day, and you're giving me attitude. And it was just, I don't know. I just like,
he's already got the union complex.
But I'm not gonna say that out loud, but it was just like,
no, you're right. You're totally right.
But maybe it's even better to do those jobs, because it's like, it'll just, I can just brush off somebody giving me attitude, because I'm like, I don't really care. Like, normally it's like, well, I want them to like me, but if somebody gives me attitude now, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna fight you on it. Or if it persists, then I'm gonna be a dickhead back, because like, you don't know me like that, and you don't know, I don't know. I can give a name.
Go for it. Do it. Expose. Go.
You might actually know.
Let's get dirty.
No, he didn't. To be honest, he didn't.
Expose him.
He gave me a slight attitude, and then somebody else said, "Yo, he's been giving me attitude all day." So that's the only reason why I was like,
"All right, who?
Tony Manza, I think is his name.
Oh my God, I do know him.
Okay, well,
I don't.
He's the one who got me my 50 shoe jobs.
We love Tony Manza here, man. We love him.
What kind of shoe jobs?
What?
Like, what kind of shoe jobs?
I think she said union jobs.
I did say union jobs. Jake, what's up with you today, dude?
Come on,
I'm tired, bro.
You don't know how to read text. You don't know how to hear things. Come on, what are we doing here?
I know how to read text and hear things. That was the you of today, bro. I had to go to New Jersey. I had to load an entire set of like fucking, I don't know, Winnie the Pooh set that's going to fucking Chicago. It was a weird day, and it was tiring.
Winnie the Pooh on Broadway?
No, it's not on Broadway. It's a traveling show. So like they're going to Chicago for like a month or two, and then they're going somewhere else for a month or two. Like it's not a Broadway set.
I feel like
You're right though. I do typically work on Broadway sets, but
I feel like there's some hilarity in Winnie the Pooh being in the middle of Chicago, this fucking war-torn state.
Yeah.
Why, you've never seen the gangsta Winnie the Pooh meme?
Yeah, I fucking I built it makes more sense when you realize that I built the 100-acre wood, or like I helped build the like that is. And by the way, when I actually like saw that written down as an adult, I was like, that's not that much wood. Like 100 acres is like big landmass, but it is also like, it sounds fantastical when you're a kid, but then you're like, that fits in a single state. Like it's not really all that mythical when you really think about it. It's like there are people who own 100 acres and it's not even like the biggest property in that state. Like, So like it's this magical land lost a little bit of magic when I realized like that's feasible for someone with some decent wealth in like Montana. Like
you guys sent me you sent something in the group chat, Jack Harlow and White Man Can't Jump.
I was more so fuming at the fact that they were remaking White Men Can't Jump. First of all,
I think it would be so much better if it was called White Man.
It's White Men.
No, the original is called
Plural.
White Men.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's only one
I was
white
reading
man.
the doc, and that's why man almost came out of my mouth, and then I was like, correction.
I argue that it would be funnier if the Jack Harlow version was White Man Can't Jump, and instead of like the same basketball movie, we get a movie about a guy who's like really trying but just actually just sucks at playing.
He's actually pretty good at basketball.
I do like
I
Jack
know, like
Harlow.
I've seen like some clips of him just like kind of fucking around. Like
Jack Harlow playing basketball?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He does like charity games. He was in the celebrity game.
I had no idea. I just see funny videos with him and
Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot, but I
What's the
just
other
still
guy's
don't
name?
think they should remake the movie.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Unless they take my idea and make it about a guy who just can't do it no matter how hard he tries. I think that's
Yes.
a better movie.
is he
Exactly.
he's not the lead, is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He's Woody Harrelson's character. I don't know if they're the same characters
I
though.
don't think they're remaking it like that. I think
Well,
they're
he's playing the lead. Is still regardless of whether or not that's like a scene to scene remake. He is the lead.
Well, here's
in
the
movie.
first article I pulled up. The Louisville rapper will take on the role originally played by Woody Harrelson.
so it is the same guy.
Well, it's gonna be modernized and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, so they can't. There's like no world where Woody just kind of is in the movie. I mean, he might be,
Yeah,
but I guess
Woody Harrelson shows up halfway through to be like, back in my day, I too could not jump. Like,
Well, it's like when they did the Professor X, the Professor X shit in X-Men, when they had both of the Professor X's.
they're both playing basketball against each other.
Oh yeah, totally they were.
yeah, it was kind of mean because one of them was in a wheelchair. So like,
Too soon. Too soon.
too soon
Yeah, it's too soon.
for
dude.
these fictional characters in this
Right?
scenario that didn't happen. Way too soon. Young Professor X is a dick. He didn't even want to try to play wheelchair basketball. He was like, no. This is as is. We're doing this right now.
You saying that made me think of the internship with Vince Vaughn and I think it was Owen Wilson.
Oh,
They,
yeah, where that string of
Owen
movies
Wilson.
that they just like made randomly.
Yeah,
Like
but
6
one of
years
the
where it's Vince Vaughn, Owen
one of the
Wilson,
jokes
and-
in there is like
Wow.
one of the jokes in there is they send him to find Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson didn't know who Professor X was, so they sent him to Oxford to look for a bald dude in a wheelchair. So like they go there and they're talking to some random bald dude about Professor X, and at the end, the dude in the wheelchair like kicks him, and they're like, Professor Xavier's a dick.
Is it the same movie? I think there's another Vince Vaughn movie where he plays wheelchair basketball, not like as a grift, like that Johnny Knoxville movie where he fakes having a
The
disability
Ringer.
to
I
compete.
know that
To compete
like
in the Olympics.
I know we're not supposed to like that movie, but that movie is fucking hilarious.
I've never seen it, but
Are we not supposed to like that movie?
No, we're not anymore.
I mean,
No,
anymore.
wasn't it?
I feel like it was panned when it came out. Like,
Oh, I don't know. I
Like-
love that movie.
I'm not saying that like bad, like low rated movies don't deserve any love, but it's just like I don't think it was like with a cultural touchstone that we just are not allowed to discuss anymore. Like, I think it was like people were like, some people thought it was funny, and a lot of people were like, I don't feel it. Like,
It just doesn't.
I don't buy Johnny Knoxville as a leading man. I'm sorry.
Oh my god! I just thought I have to be honest with you. It wasn't even him who I thought made the movie funny.
Who made the movie funny?
The dude who first of all, the actual special needs person made the movie hilarious. And then the dude who made the Stupid Troopers joke. So he's like got black hair. I forget his name in the movie though. But those were the two that like stole the show. They were the funniest.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
There was a movie with Shia LaBeouf. What was the most recent one? Shia LaBeouf. It was about
where Shia LaBeouf plays
that
Shia
was
LaBeouf's
actually
dad.
a great movie though. Did you see that?
It was him and the kid really loved wrestling, and I was like, before the movie came out, I'm like, dude, how did I not write this movie? How was I not prepared for this?
Yeah.
But it was really well done.
You didn't have the shit childhood specific to Shia LaBeouf. I don't know.
No, it wasn't about. It was him and
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, Peanut Butter Falcon. It was him and the special needs kid, and the special needs kid was like obsessed with wrestling. And I think I could be getting this wrong, but I think he like really wanted to make it to a wrestling show or something like that. And Shia LaBeouf's character was like, "Fuck it, let's just go."
Yeah, it was really such a good movie.
Yeah, that was
it really was.
I'm thinking of a completely different movie that's like semi-autobiographical that Shia LaBeouf did, and people were like, "This is kind of."
No, but
I don't remember what it was called.
that got like Oscar buzz and shit like that. Golden, and he got like nominated for like best actor or something like that. I think he played his dad. I don't remember the name. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, that was that. Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about too.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying like that wasn't what I was trying to say. I think I was mostly trying to say like it had some kind like level of quote controversy around it.
Yeah,
just because I think of like content matter and stuff like that.
Was like his life was crazy. But you are right. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't a quality assertion as much of like I remember more of that than
Honey Boy.
Anything from the movie.
Honey Boy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Was it
you're
Honey
right.
Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that immediately rang a bell for me.
But he also had an American Honey. Was that was the other movie that he was in with the
I
girl?
don't know.
It was,
I don't know that one.
They like street casted that girl, and now she's in a bunch of shit now. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was also in this other movie that I really, really enjoy called Charlie Countryman. It's a great movie. And his co-star was Evan Rachel Wood.
Speaking of Evan Rachel Wood,
I gifted you that segue, Eric. I gifted you that segue. Yeah. You're welcome.
Speaking of, I don't even remember what the Evan Rachel Wood. Oh, well, we already talked about this last week. He's playing Madonna in the Weird Al Yankovic movie. I don't know if you want to.
That's what I was talking about as a great cast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if you want to pull that picture up just so we can have it, but I saw one clip. It didn't look too crazy. I mean, it's not really crazy to look like Madonna. I think Weird Al is probably more of a big deal than it would. I'm sure
if you're
other people have played Madonna, I would imagine, in other movies, like as a supporting role, like kind of in the background kind of thing.
Like a biopic, and it's like Madonna would have been at this party kind of scenario, but not like yeah.
What they did Jim Norton as he played a comedian. Jim Norton the comedian played Norton. No, Jim Norton the comedian played an old comedian in. Damn, just keep doing your thing, because now this is gonna bother me.
Eric's gonna do his thing now. And we're all using Google while I buy time to save this podcast. There we go.
I'm actually on DuckDuckGo.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're a DuckDuckGo exclusive podcast. I forgot.
So Google's I have just such a term.
We have to erase it from our vocabulary. But yeah, that's good casting.
That's it. I can't see. I'm not even looking at it. Hold on, because now it's gonna bother me. Did you get rid of the picture already? God damn it.
Yeah, we did it. I don't know. Eric has to solve his own mysteries in real time.
Don. Okay, I got it. Don Rickles. He played Don Rickles, but it was like 2 seconds. He played Don Rickles. You just saw him.
Sorry,
in the
I can reshare it. I was having some technical issues.
It's all right. I was just like, why did she only share it for half a second? And Jake was like, "That's good. Next."
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say beyond like, yeah, good.
Oh,
she is.
Well, that's good.
That's why I said great cast. I mean, she kind of looks like her, but She looks more like the girl from 13 that she played in this. I mean, I guess she is the girl from 13, but that looks like the character.
Well, coincidentally.
Do I know who Evan Rachel Wood is? What does she do? What does she play?
Oh my God, I love Evan Rachel Wood. She was in this movie, Running with Scissors.
Evan Rachel Wood from
favorite movies.
She's done a lot of shit. I can't.
She was in the HBO show, right?
Yes, that HBO show. Correct.
You know the one where she was like one of the 17 wives that the guy had. It was a big deal when it was out. She was a Mormon. No, am I wrong?
I mean, I thought you were talking about Westworld, but it's fine.
Oh, damn.
It's fine to
I'm
just
pulling
have
up her
the
IMDb
wrong
now.
HBO show.
First thing to come
I
up.
might be wrong altogether. You're right. Dude, Westworld is still... Oh, yeah. They were filming in New York.
It's amazing how close you were. Evan Rachel Wood, HBO, and it just like not the long popular running series.
Oh, yeah. It was a different blonde lady. You're right. Wrong lady.
Wrong blonde lady.
Oh, she was in True Blood. Whatever. Anyway.
Dude, Eric, you would love Running with Scissors, though. There's two recommendations. Charlie Countryman and Running with Scissors. Running with Scissors is right up Eric's alley, though, because it's like a depressed movie.
Okay, I like that.
I know you do.
I like being depressed. I'm depressed right now.
Who doesn't?
You're
Who
right.
isn't?
It says a lot about my childhood that 13 and Running with Scissors were my favorite. Like, I used to play them on repeat.
What was I watching the other day?
We all have our things.
Oh, I was watching The First Kid. Sorry,
The First Kid?
Dude.
That's on film?
It's on Disney Plus. They got everything. I want to watch.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they got everything. I watched
the fucking wildest.
I was like, this movie is amazing. I can't wait to have children so I can watch this and justify the fact that I'm watching this. And then I was like, I need to watch Heavyweights now too. But
God, Heavyweights is a classic, dude.
Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
Well, I was gonna say, First Kid is just like the silliest concept. Like, not silly, like, but I'm saying I love the movie, but it seems like they don't explore what that would actually fucking entail at all.
The movie makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
You know what other movie is similar that I love and can't wait to watch with my kids? Blank
Cadet
Check.
Kelly.
Well, Cadet Kelly was awesome, but Blank Check, it's similar to First Kid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that would never happen. Who the fuck would cash a check for $1 million for no reason?
Me.
Yeah. And also just like, I think as like a kid, it like generated a kind of fear of having a checkbook. As like, I was like, what, 8 when that came out? 6, like somewhere at toddler times. And like, I was just like, we could lose all of our money if my dad just like misplaces one check. This is kind of fucked up. Like I was like not on the end of like, oh, I could just find a blank check and be like rich as shit. I was like, someone can find one of our blank checks and we could be ruined.
Yeah,
like,
see, I was totally on the opposite end of you, Jake. I was like, oh my God, I just need to find a blank check and get a water slide that connects from my game room to the pool.
I think everyone else in the world was on that side because that is the movie. The movie isn't like child's life gets overturned because of parents leaving checkbook out. Well,
you know what we could talk about as an adult though? It was weird as fuck
Kelly?
that his love interest was a fucking adult woman in that movie.
They always do that. They do that in every like vague fucking kids thing, like from that time period. Like because it's Tom Hanks, we don't talk about in Big that like that's like a fucking child.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what else people don't talk about? We don't talk about why. What's his name?
Javon Walton or Harry Houdini?
No, who did you just mention?
Lindsay Lohan?
No, it's not about
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Oh,
Anthony Mackie. Okay.
No, I wasn't gonna segue. I was trying to add some QAnon.
Well, now
shit
I've said a lot of names.
I was trying to.
We can just take those, cut them, and if we have a rough segue, just.
I was trying to add QAnon shit to it to be funny, and then you can continue the story, but I forgot his name mid sentence. Tom Hanks flee the country because he slept with a bunch of 13-year-olds on Epstein Island. Anyway, whatever. Go on.
Tom Hanks doesn't even appear in that fucking book, I think.
You just
Like
mentioned
those flight
Tom Hanks.
logs.
That's the only. Oh no, but yeah, but that's like the thing.
No,
now.
it was a rumor. Yeah, I remember. I remember like seeing that, like the handful of QAnon people that like I know on Twitter and shit. None of them were QAnon people beforehand. They were just like the pandemic happened, and suddenly it's like I have cousins just being like, "Fuck it," like. Tom Hanks is a piece of shit. Like
he's in Australia
raping all our kids, and I was like, "What?" And I googled it, and I was like, "Oh God."
Because no, there was this one day where Oprah apparently got arrested because she was like the leader of this sex cult and all these little kids and all this other shit, and Tom Hanks was one of the people involved, and it was like this connection between the two, and then from there. Even though it was debunked 1,000 times, because it did trend on Twitter, which had me like, oh shit, what's going down? But I think after that, it just continued on. Like people still believe that, like I'll be on TikTok and they'll do like they do this round table. There's a round table video that I keep seeing. It's like bits and pieces of it, clips from it. It's like Tom Hanks and like a bunch of random actors that you would never see in a movie together. So they just have them sit at a round table and like talk about, careers and acting and life or whatever. Anyway, so they have Tom Hanks doing this whole speech, and then it's like a heartfelt speech. It's really nice. It's very motivating. And then you go in the comments, they're like, yeah, well, why are you in Australia? Why haven't you been back in America? You've been fucking them 13-year-olds, fucking freak. And it's just like, what? How did you go from this?
It's pretty wild because the reason he was not able to come back to the United States is specifically because we just like banned fucking travel to the United States in the early, like everywhere did. So it's like you were where you were in those moments. Well, like there's a ton of actors. There's a ton, like I think Matt Damon has a story about how he was trapped in fucking like Ireland or something like that. Now he just like actually lives there or something like that.
Dude, first of all, Jared Leto's story is wild, but there's a surfer who's got a sick story. They were like big wave surfing in Monaco and he got fucked up. Like he broke his pelvis in half and they were trying to get him home and he could not get home. Like as he was flying home, they were shutting down the airtime in real life. Jeez. Like he almost got stuck in Canada.
But like there was people who were on like cruise ships off like the ports of like Florida who lived on those ships for like months. Like, because they were just like, well, you've been to too many places. We just can't fucking let you in. We have no idea. Like, so it's like, all these people are outside the country because they were probably filming or on vacation. And then suddenly the world changed. Like,
well, I think Tom Hanks was on vacation, then he got COVID. And then it was like this thing where he had to quarantine. And then I don't know the rest of the story. That's all I remember is when he got COVID and this was like beginning of COVID and everyone was like, oh fuck, is Tom Hanks about to die?
I remember that. I thought that. I was like, oh.
But because we shouldn't spend too much time on.
No, I'm sorry. On
absurdity.
I was trying to make a joke and then continue on.
I have the one thing that I just have to talk about is like one of those people that I know who started in the pandemic posting on this shit. One of the earlier things, like it was like they posted a couple things. I was like, it's like lightweight QAnon stuff, like, but it wasn't like can confirm. And this falls under that, but just as weird knowing like why they posted it is they found. Have you guys ever watched Tim and Eric Awesome Show? Great Job on Adult Swim.
No, but
it's absurd comedy. It's absurdist comedy, wild premises all over the map. It's hilarious, but like it's really strange comedy. And they know like John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell, like they know a bunch of people like fucking what's his goddamn name? The guy who plays Ant-Man.
Paul
plays
Rudd.
Ant-Man. Paul Rudd has been on their show and stuff. Like they know a bunch of these like bigger comedic actors. There's a sketch that they did called like Child Clown Rental, where Will Ferrell plays like a guy who runs a shop where you can rent child clowns. And the premise is just like he hates them all. And it's just like, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them. I don't give a shit about these goddamn clowns. Like it's and it's shot in this like 90s car lot infomercial kind of way. Like it's real absurd, and it's just because it's like they've clearly never seen the show. Like it fits with the show's premise of like just wild bullshit all day. But like they're just like fucking Will Ferrell talking about renting kids. He's a disgusting pedophile, and I'm just like that'd be a rough way to get found out, just to have a sketch be like blatantly just screaming it on a sketch that aired on television. Like that's fucking wild.
You're confessing in front of a television crew.
Yeah, but like it's clearly, even if you don't think it's funny, it's clearly absurd. Like it's wild to be like, this is Will Ferrell admitting to fucking child abuse. So I was just like, I can't believe this shit. They had a meme, though. They had a big meme, the Tim and Eric stuff. They had the "It's free real estate." If you remember that shit,
I do. I remember that meme.
Yeah, that's from their show. That's a clip from. So if you want, after this, YouTube free real estate, you can see the thing it's from. It's a great clip.
I thought that was just a fucking meme. Like, you know how memes come out of fucking nowhere? That's what I thought that was. I had no idea.
Well, it's from like the show aired in like 2008. Like to 2008 to like 2012. So that was old shit. And then suddenly like 3-4 years ago, it was like big ass meme now. Like we cropped something from a decade ago, and now it's once again culturally relevant. But yeah, I just had to talk about that because it's just one of the more absurd things that I saw in the pandemic was just like Will Ferrell pedophile confirmed and this absurd fucking video.
You heard
from a
it here
show
first.
that I do about.
Will Ferrell is a pedophile.
Apparently you didn't hear it here first because I'm just talking about something I saw 2 years ago.
You heard it here second. Will Ferrell is a pedophile. Clip it, Jess.
Gotcha.
I kind of want to talk about Lindsay Lohan. Is there any
I mean,
I'm so fucking hype.
I was gonna do. All right, go ahead.
What's
I'm
the,
just
do we
hyped.
have
I'm hyped
information?
that she's coming back.
Yeah, is it just the basic? She's going to be in 2 movies and that's it. Do we have any other
I honestly
information?
didn't click the headline when I saw it, but I was so hyped that she's like sober, and I loved her Super Bowl commercial, and I'm gassed that she's healthy and ready to go.
Oh, is that how people know? Is that how we know she's okay? I didn't see the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. Supposedly.
It was for Nike.
Okay.
Who was it for? Nike?
The commercial?
Is she
I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It definitely wasn't Nike. I feel like it was like a gym commercial or some shit like that.
Is she like?
Maybe Planet Fitness.
I think that was what it was. I think.
Just go Google it real fast.
Is she,
I got it right here.
Is she really sober, or is it like?
No, I mean she looks
blatantly
healthier
obvious
than
that
she's ever looked.
Recovering drug addict kind of situation.
It was Planet Fitness.
Yeah, that's what I thought because I remember her on the treadmill.
Yeah, but that you can put someone on a treadmill and still be Nike.
Yeah, I know, but
no, Planet Fitness commercial, and it was one like this year. All I got from the Super Bowl in text was Eric being like, "Yo, I didn't even go to the Super Bowl party," and then my mom being like, "The commercials aren't as good this year," which just highlighted like I guess another smooth transition for Eric here. Highlighted an old Bill Burr sketch talking about how he doesn't go to Super Bowl parties because he actually wants to watch the game. And inevitably, you go to a Super Bowl party, people are talking during the game, and everyone gets quiet during the commercials. And then the game comes back on, and they start talking about the commercials, and all I wanted to fucking do is watch the game.
It's like watching WrestleMania. You invite all your friends, and half of them don't even watch wrestling anymore. And they're all like, "Oh shit, who the fuck is this guy?" For fucking 4 hours because they don't watch wrestling. So you're sitting there for 4 hours trying to explain to them who the fuck these people are, but also trying to enjoy it yourself because you've been watching for your entire life. And then you got these assholes who don't watch at all and they jump in, similar to the Super Bowl.
So one of the movies has a synopsis.
I heard one of them is a rom-com.
One of them is a Christmas movie, Falling for Christmas.
I was wrong.
Holiday rom-com.
No, That's, I was gonna say it's just holiday specific rom-com for sure.
She plays a newly engaged spoiled hotel heiress who gets into a skiing accident, suffers from total amnesia, and finds herself in the care of a handsome blue-collar lodge owner who's Cord Overstreet from Glee, and his precious daughter in the days leading up to Christmas.
Bruh, I think that's perfect.
And Netflix seems to be super happy with her too, by the way.
I mean, they signed her up for 2 movies. Goddamn.
But also, I think it's easy for me to believe this time it might work out better for her, specifically because she's been away for a lot longer than I think people even really realize. Like beforehand was like, she was a child star who went straight from that into like being a bigger movie star. All the problems of a classic child star typically has, like, you know.
And it was worse with her too, dude, because don't forget her dad was like a real piece of work. Oh yeah, but it's just she got the entire fucking menu of child star bullshit. Like
I think,
and so the first time she came back was young adult, trying to like post reputation being kind of harmed by like on-set stuff. Tried to come back. That's when like more of the addiction started to come around. Fell off, and now it's been a decade roughly since like her last major film.
And she did try to do she tried to do like Oprah stuff where she was doing a comeback, but she was never actually sober.
I think that was the same because we talked about it on an episode about David Letterman, like, you know, doing some shady shit. There was an episode, I think that's when she kind of came back, but then disappeared again, was when he had her on the show, and he, you know, he was not giving him a pass, but he was like trying to make joke. He thought like she would be in on the joke, and like it comes up. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't, but according to TikTok, he wasn't. According to TikTok, she wasn't. Like he would make jokes about her doing drugs and shit because like this was her big comeback, and like obviously that's what everybody wants to talk about. So he'll make jokes thinking that she would be cool with it, and it kind of came off as, you know, a little too much. And then
you don't have to even be like, oh, to give him a pass, because that is kind of the crux of this Super Bowl commercial that she just did. Was like, look at Lindsay Lohan. She used to be like this like party animal and all this shit, and now she like it's her basically saying
she's in on the joke.
Yeah, like basically.
Well, now she is. I don't think she was at the time.
I don't know though.
No, all I'm saying, not that she was, and that like all I'm saying is that the pre-choreograph. I don't think Letterman ever pre-choreographed things.
Really?
So I think. Well, yeah. I think that's a big why a lot of people think like late night is stale currently, is because everything is so heavily pre-thought that it doesn't feel real.
I guess
we talked about late night previously, but I think that's like my biggest gripe is like, oh, everything feels like, oh yeah, we had this whole conversation backstage before we came out. Yeah. Well, but like Letterman and O'Brien were pretty notorious for like, they have their questions that like they have to answer to get the promo stuff out of the way, but they would go on these long tangents, kind of freewheel a bunch of shit. So it's not saying that he knew she was in on the joke or not. He thought, I'm betting he thought she might be, and I'm going to take that chance.
I agree. It seemed like that too.
I mean, it seems like it now because like you're watching it and you know you're reading the comments. You're like, oh, this guy was a fucking dickhead. But like at the time, I probably watched it and thought it was funny because I just assumed that she would be in on it. Because you know, whenever you have a guest on there, whenever you have a comedian on there, the host always sets you up for a joke that you're going to tell that is on your special that you're selling, that you're showcasing. You know, you go on Letterman to showcase your special. Yeah, but she's not
a comedian.
No, I know, but I'm saying in that same thing, the comedian goes over with Letterman prior to, and he says, "Hey, can you set me up for this joke?" And then that joke is going to be in that special. And I just assume a lot of the times it's the same for the actors. Dave's like, you know, I'm going to talk about this, but you know, again, we've seen. And we don't have to talk about Dave Letterman, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean that was.
I'm just happy. I loved her as a kid. I actually went to her house. Funny story in high school, but I loved her as a kid. She looks healthy. She's killing it on TikTok.
Do you know Lindsay Lohan? What you holding?
No, her
out?
sister. So she grew up in Long Island, and her sister.
Her twin sister?
No, her younger sister went to my friend's high school in Merrick.
Yeah.
And I went to high school in Long Island. So she threw a party, and their house is, I know where their family
Where
house
do they live,
is.
Jess?
No, I was going to say it too, but I'm not
Give
going
us
to.
the address right now.
No, it
What
doesn't
borough?
matter. Their house is like super hidden. Like even if you drive up the block, you're not going to know where the house is unless you know where the house is.
It's already too many hints. We know where she lives now, Jess.
Yep,
It's over.
totally. But she's killing it. I'm happy. I love the Parent Trap. I'm happy she's sober. She looks great. She got the fillers taken out. She's killing it on TikTok.
Fillers. Oh, she had work done, and then
Oh
got
hell
them
yeah,
taken out?
she looked like shit when she was like on drugs.
I
She
didn't know
looked
you. I didn't know you
bad.
could do that. Like take fillers out.
Yeah, you can.
Anyway, does she do Parent Trap 2 with her as the mom?
They're
Well,
actually
no.
talking about a
How would they do
Mean Girls sequel or like spin-off where they're mean moms.
I
They
didn't.
are.
I didn't watch the original, but it's a classic, correct?
Oh, it's hilarious, yeah, in my opinion.
Would that be? I mean, whatever. Do your thing. Mean moms. I'm down
Yeah, they
for it.
want to they're like running the PTA and shit now instead of being in high school.
But I don't know if that audience are moms now. I mean, I guess maybe they should be.
Well, yeah,
Should we be?
I
should
mean,
we be
I
moms
should
and
be a
dads?
parent by now, yeah. Technically. Like that movie came out when I was in high school and now I'm almost 30. So like
Say that again, Jake. You got cut off. You're muted.
yeah, we
You're
can't
gone.
hear you.
You're gone, dude. He's gone. Well, this has been the Whole for Everything podcast. Nope, Jake's gone. Jake's no longer with us. This guy's out of control. He shows up late. His mic doesn't work. I don't know what to do with him anymore.
We still don't got you, Jake.
Now he's just smacking the mic.
I saw.
Whatever. Jake, you stay right there. We're gonna keep talking about. Jess, did you watch the Euphoria finale?
I didn't, but I heard what happened. I wasn't able to skirt it.
You son of a bitch. Well, we don't really have to talk about it, but I will say they literally gave us no answers to anything.
They killed Ashtray.
We hear you.
I didn't change anything.
Well,
Now we hear you. You're back,
Yeah.
bud.
you're back. Jake, did you watch the finale to Euphoria?
Yeah,
Ashtray died.
Well, what'd you like about it, Jake?
a lot of it, most things, I'd say.
You gotta
Ashtray.
love.
I'd say
Go ahead.
Jess is trying to do this like whisper thing,
Trying to
but
tell
like
you.
the whole pod can hear her.
Check the chat.
And
What are your thoughts on Zendaya?
talented actress, does a good job.
Love
Most
it.
things that I've seen her in.
Check
Gotta
the
love
chat,
it.
Jake.
Check. Gotta love it.
Ashtray died.
Wow, you really did watch the episode, Jake. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that from you. How did you like what were your thoughts on Ashtray
It
dying?
was, I mean, yeah, kind of like wild moment, but the cinematography, great. Like, and you could tell that, like, sometimes these moments fall flat because like you don't have good casting, you don't have good sets, you don't have all, and it's just like, oh, it's clearly an HBO show.
Absolutely.
They have the budget to make this look just as sad as it needed to be, if not more sad.
Even crazier? You know how many days they spent on shooting each episode?
3?
No, a ton. They
30
spent
days per episode, Jake.
30 days.
Well, the first episode of Evil was 30 days, but I guess that's like standard for a pilot. But like,
They're on,
Well,
but they also
but
shoot on film.
They shot on film, Jake.
And their
Mad
light
dumb shit.
setups are
I forgot about
ridiculous.
that.
Did they shoot on film on Evil? I don't think so.
No, they did not.
They did not.
I'm super upset that Ashtray died. Also, Eric, if you saw it, did they mention Rue and this lady yet? And like,
Oh, and that's everyone's gripe. Nobody understands why the fuck they shot this episode. They finished this episode as if it's the last episode, and they left so many plot holes. It's
yeah, but they got renewed.
yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying it's the way that they ended it.
No, they didn't.
According to Jess,
This is
their
this
last
was the
Final
last-
season.
No.
Anything
yeah.
else is just like a fanfic at this point.
They didn't end on her getting kidnapped by the lady. They didn't.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, like they did have Fez gets stabbed. Ashtray gets killed.
Wait, Fez?
Yeah, Fez.
dude.
He looks like Mac Miller, dude. Insane, and sounds
Wilmer
like him.
Valderrama is in this fucking show? Since when?
His name's Fezco.
Name's Fezco. There's a video on
I don't know what
TikTok.
his name was in that 70s show, but
It's so funny, dude.
He didn't
There's
have
around
one.
there.
That was the joke.
There's a video on TikTok
well, he
that I
was
saw.
unpronounceable, which, by the way, probably would not be filmed or like shot like that as a joke in the modern era.
But also
was a
his
foreign
name.
exchange student has an unpronounceable name, so we're just going to shorthand foreign exchange student.
I was gonna
Just
say
call him
also
that for an
he's
entire
Fez with
show.
an S. So I was gonna say he's Fez with an S.
Yeah.
This guy's Fez with a Z.
How do you spell the hat?
The hat?
The what?
There's a hat called a fez.
A fedora?
It's like Turkish? No, it's not a fedora. It's straight up called a fez.
FEZ.
Google FEZ. So
Yeah.
your boy's named after a hat.
Well, but his name is Fezco. Like
It's Fezco. It's for
FEZCO.
sure. It's for sure. You don't got to be that guy, Jake. All right.
Fezco, the company that makes Fez hats. They named their son
wait.
after their company.
Isn't Fezco the candy?
That's Pez.
Damn, I was close.
Easy.
Can that be my new name? My new
Somebody
nickname?
Googled is Fezco based on Mac Miller, and that's how much the dude looks and sounds like Mac Miller.
No. So he was.
Oh man, fucking Euphoria out here, just trying to capitalize on the
death?
tragic death of an artist.
Unbelievable. You heard it here first. Euphoria is capitalizing.
It's toxic.
It's toxic.
I'm also boycotting because Ashtray was my favorite character.
Well, he's still alive, so it's
Well,
fine.
I don't know if your boycott will resolve anything because they already did it, and
They already did it. I did see
They
a
already did
TikTok
it.
with. I saw a TikTok with the actor who plays Fez. He was a server at a restaurant in like Harlem or something. I don't know where it was. It was in,
I told you that last time we talked about Euphoria that he was street casted.
yeah, I was gonna say we've had this conversation.
But I saw the video where he was working as a server, and they had no idea who he was at the time, and they were just go ahead.
Did our clip do numbers or something that we're talking about it again?
No, we've literally done no numbers in 4 weeks, Jake. So
Well, I think this clip was 5 weeks ago, so maybe.
No, when we were uploading,
we're basically
we'll
just
talk about
hanging
it
out
later.
at this point, Jake.
We'll talk about it later.
We're just
maybe
chit chatting at this point, Jake. We're just fucking.
What time are we at though?
We're just getting drunk
We're
on
at
camera.
about we're like hour 5.
Damn, Jake, you're supposed to let me know so I can. Well, no, hour and
Here's the
5
thing,
is.
is that
We talked about nothing for 15 minutes.
exactly. We talked about video games for like the first 20, so that's why I didn't say anything yet because I was like, I want to have enough that if we don't end up keeping that, but like because we run over all day, every day, so it wouldn't be the weirdest thing to have an hour 20 episode. But like also, if we don't want to have like a 45-minute episode, we can just cut the video game talk and just not this moment where we reveal that there was video game talk.
All right. Well,
It's gonna be on our Patreon.
Just wanted to talk about this last week. It's kind of old news by now, but we'll talk about it anyway, just because it did it did give us numbers.
What?
For it's our
Numbers, bro.
It's our bread and butter. Aziz
Aziz?
Ansari. He's our bread and butter. I don't know any information about this movie, which is why I didn't talk about it last week. I just put it down, but I feel like the last thing that Jess
I don't
had
recall wanting to talk about this, but
you did say we should have talked about it because he did his numbers, and I'm gonna trust you now.
Eric made it sound like you were like desperately disappointed that we
it was
didn't.
probably like I sent
were
a screenshot
begging.
from like a Twitter trending topic or something. And
No,
Yeah, I think
no. You said it. You said it after we like.
I think I remember we were like still on on Zoom,
and I felt
You're like,
bad.
oh, we should have talked about this.
I was like, damn, we probably should have, but whatever. We could talk about it quick. I don't know any information, so if you want to, I can Google some shit. But Aziz Ansari is going to direct and star in comedic drama alongside Bill Murray, which is, if we want to go back to Master of None, he did write himself into that show without being the star. Am I yelling, Jake? Am I too loud? I feel like I'm yelling.
No.
Okay. Anyway.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, he's starring in the show in this film now, as opposed to what he did in Master of None, which he kind of took a backseat to. We debated on if it was because he got half canceled or not, but I think at this point people are kind of over it. And if he was to star in,
I was just to jump in. I was scrolling through Netflix. I heard nothing about this, and maybe you guys have. He has a new stand-up special on Netflix.
I did not see that.
Well, he's got a new stand-up special.
I was scrolling through it. It said 2022. I knew he did the one. He already did one post like controversy, but he has like one that came out like this year, like right. January probably.
I think it probably was filmed in January too, because I haven't watched it, but it was like he popped in at the cellar. He did like an hour.
Yeah, that's like the introduction. Like someone saying like, you never know who's going to show up, and tonight,
I mean,
Aziz Ansari. Like,
I love that type of shit. I think he kind of pulled like a Dave Chappelle, and he kind of just sat there on the stool and talked about life. He might have, he probably did some jokes that he had, but other than that, I think it was just like him kind of talking about like today's, world or whatever. I don't think he talked about the situation. I think everyone's kind of over it at this point.
Well, even when it was happening, and I think we did we've had this conversation, and we're just rehashing basic points. Even when it was like just reported on, it was, I remember like people being half and half on it.
Yeah.
Like people were like, there was a lot of people who were like, yeah, fuck it. And then there's also a lot of people that were like, it doesn't sound like at the time we had like all the insane shit happening with like Harvey Weinstein and like and a lot of people were like, there's a lot of more gray area on this one. And then, it's still shit. Basically, I think everyone at this point, or most people at this point, have settled on like, yeah, that was shitty, but like, I'm not gonna like fucking like, it's not. No one was calling for him to go to prison. Essentially,
no.
Like, no one was like jail Aziz or anything like that. It was mostly just like, it's kind of fucked up, and I think that's where we ended up. Like, that's shitty, and then he was like, yeah, kind of shitty. That's my bad. Like,
I mean. In hindsight,
I remember that situation thinking like, okay, he didn't really do anything wrong besides be an asshole. Because like she was like, no, and he was like,
that's the thing. Like in hindsight, I think, and not to like victim blame, but I think in hindsight for her to,
let's go, let's have Eric blame the victim.
I'm gonna blame her.
I don't agree with that point, but
blame her. In hindsight, I do think publicly mentioning it, being that it wasn't that big of a deal, but knowing how crazy things were at the time, for her to mention it like in an article and the way that it was presented, she had to know that he would be lumped in with all these other people.
Yeah, Eric, I'm right there with you.
And I do like, even if he was an asshole, and I agree to that, like it's one of those things where you kind of just, you got to keep that not to yourself. But
it was
I don't know if it was necessary to go public with it, because this person is going to potentially be lumped into the Louis C.K.'s and the Harveys and and that was the only issue I had with it.
I think especially with like the published story ending with like them having a conversation about it and kind of like hashing it out privately,
exactly
prior to so like
you guys made up, and you still discussed how you even if you mentioned how you guys made up, you know that the bad part is going to stick with everyone.
But that's the thing too, like, okay, I'm all for supporting victims, but she wasn't really a victim. She had a bad date.
I wouldn't say it's a bad day. I would say that there are, like, I mentioned it last time we talked about it. Like it did do good in the sense of like, I feel like I've been in positions where not girls have done things with me because I forced them, but there's been instances where like any guy, I feel like this has probably happened where, you put some sort of a pressure on things going down.
Essentially what Aziz did was it like, he should like the first no essentially should have been like enough.
But from what I remember, it was like from what I remember.
Well, like then this is why, like I said, there's a lot of gray areas, like because, and this, I think this is what Eric's getting into, whereas like he didn't force an issue in like a really grandstanding way or anything like that. They kept like, from what I remember of an article from like 4 years ago, they kept like making out, like soft fooling around. They didn't sleep together. It ended up being like kind of like an oral sex thing. Yeah, which she still wasn't into, but kind of it was like a soft pressure to do it
from what
based
I remember,
on like other circumstances.
Yeah, so from what I remember, they didn't have the oral sex. From what I remember from the article, it was soft makeout. She wasn't into it. She said that, and he was like, "Okay, then leave."
No, she definitely performed oral sex, and it was more than once.
She didn't sleep with him.
I think. But she went down on him once and she was like, oh no. And then they, I think he might've like had a mini conversation with her and then like she might've went down again. And then I don't know if he, finished or whatever the case was, but that's neither here nor there. I do remember that she did go down on him.
And basically the conversation that the talking about it thing that she talked about was like she did text him or call him and talk about
afterwards.
She was like,
but I mean, victims do that too. Like actual victims do that as well.
That's true. I mean,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like why I remember that actually happening. Like that being the article and not he said, "We'll get the fuck out," was because she mentioned that she was uncomfortable having done that. But I think what Eric was getting at is, when you read it, it's like it doesn't seem like Aziz is consciously trying to do something.
Exactly.
But there's a whole lot of scenarios where you like accidentally inflict kind of these pressures that you might not even be aware of to do things like that.
So here it says
the net gain of that article would be like dudes being a bit more aware of those more like maybe subtle kind of bullshits that might be going on.
So here, so we're both right. I have the article right here, like the actual interview.
I'm always right.
She said they went to dinner. After dinner, they went to his apartment and it got physical. They were kissing. He went down on her. He asked her to do the same for him. She did it briefly. And then she was like, nah. And then he wanted to have sex and she was like, nah. And he called her a cab. And then she left. Well, and that's from her. That's just what she said.
Yeah. No, she was very upfront with all the shit that happened. I remember that point. Yeah. Like she didn't like embellish or anything like that.
And that's why I say like, and as a woman, men can definitely be pushy, but just because you're pushy and an asshole doesn't mean that you sexually assaulted me. So like she also is an asshole because she was trying to capitalize on the Me Too movement. So it's like harder to support her because that's what she was trying to do.
I mean, to be honest, I don't remember her name. So did she really even get anything out of this?
No, but I think she was trying to. I think she didn't because
she
people
got
were
some
like
level of fame briefly.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, but she was like a photographer or some shit. So I don't think it was like it's not. I don't think she gained anything. Like she's not going to get extra work because of this. I get what you're saying. I think
that's what she was trying to do, though. I think she was trying to get clout from it. Well, that's what I think, and I'll get heat for it probably, but that's what I think.
I mean, but what all this really does is highlight. Yeah, I mean, we're all basically on the same page of like, yeah, Aziz could have been better, but it also wasn't like the fucking wild shit that was simultaneously going down.
Exactly.
It was like if this came out beforehand, people would have been like, it's kind of a dick move. And that would have been like the end of it versus like because it came out during. Yeah. It's like.
And to clarify, that's exactly what I think. Like he definitely is an asshole and one of those like pressury dudes in that situation at least. But I just don't think. I think she's just as much as an asshole.
I wouldn't even call him an asshole. I think it's just one of those situations where like in the moment, you don't realize that you're doing this thing.
Well, no, I mean, from my end, it's an asshole move because like of being on the other end of that situation, the way it makes you feel versus the verbal cues that you give should be enough. Like verbal cues should be picked up on. So
Exactly.
It's like, and I only think he was an asshole. He picked up on the verbal cues and he was like, all right, let me call you a car. Like, okay, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go on the date with her. You just wanted sex. Like, you're totally an asshole. And I've been on dates with guys like that, so I get it. But she's in turn an asshole as well for going to the media with that story. You know, like
I mean, I mean, that, I don't remember the whole story, but that's anyway. To finish
once again,
go ahead.
Say to highlight, like once again, what I think Eric was getting at is because of the story, though. I think more people are a bit more men in particular might be a bit more thoughtful on that end of it. Not
which
all,
is a good thing
obviously,
that came from it.
Hashtag not all men are good people, but like it is. I think because of all the big discussion and because like I think a lot of dudes have like been like because of that discussion talked to women and been like, I feel like I've been in that scenario, and girls being like, you should probably maybe think about that a little bit more then and come back with like a different idea.
Yeah. And that is the good thing that came from
and
it.
that's like, yeah, it kind of, like I said, I agree with everything both of you have basically said, where it's like, yeah, shitty on all ends. Probably should have just been a private matter through and through.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and at least there was probably like a little bit of good at the end of it that came from it in maybe some more conscientious people.
The real question is, are we excited about this movie with Bill Murray?
Well, I have what it's about. It's based on a book.
It's about old dads, baby.
It's based on a book.
That's Bill Burr.
I don't know. It's the same movie.
Jake's gone.
I looked
Jake's
at the
drunk.
list. I'm not even drunk. I looked at the list,
I
just saw number 2, and it was like, that's probably what we're talking about. Old dads.
We're talking about disease.
Yeah. I just read the end of it. You know, like how sometimes you read the beginning of things and the end of things and skip the middle of them.
Jake, did you find your headphones or what? I don't.
I've been on camera this whole time. The audience can clearly see I haven't.
But you have not been on audio this whole time.
How do you lose
That's true.
those
There was a
big
moment
ass
where
headphones?
they're probably at my studio is what they are.
Oh wait, you still haven't found them?
No, these are my wireless headphones. Yeah. I have a pair of like just studio head. I think probably like any audio producer does this. A pair of studio headphones, at least one, and a pair of just like headphones you walk around with.
I see.
Because studio headphones are big and bulky, and typically like the wire's like fucking 12 feet long, and so they're not really fun to just walk around in.
You're welcome.
And I say that as I see that Eric is wearing a pair of Audio Technicas, probably the ATH 50s.
I don't know. They
Something
were
like that?
5 stars on Amazon. That's all I look at.
No, they're good headphones, but they are studio headphones. So I hope you have a different pair for when you're outside the house.
Oh no, I definitely do, because the wire is about 50 feet long.
That's what Jake just said.
Yeah,
Bro.
It's ridiculous. Is that what you just said?
Really?
Yes, totally.
Yeah, I did say like as a part of a list though. It was in the middle of the list, so I get why you didn't.
Is that a part of the ADHD? You only hear the beginning and the end? Because
it's not a problem I've had. My big memory problem is people will say you should, like, I'll be given a task or something like that to do, and then like I'll turn and start to go to do it, and I'll be like, I completely forgot what the fuck, like, but the whole thing, not like the middle of it. It's like all of it's gone. It's
Same.
a working memory issue.
Yeah.
Yours seems to be like just heavy on the primary and recency bias.
Yours is like
with zero
selective.
in between. Yeah.
Eric's like selective memory.
Just tell me what you need. What do you need me to do? That's all.
I guess get medication.
So, Bill, what's the idea behind this movie?
It's based on a book, Being Mortal, Medicine and What Matters in the End is the book. That's a nonfiction book. And it approaches medicine from a quality of life perspective, examining aging, nursing homes, and hospice care.
Oh, God damn it.
But it's a comedy.
Oh,
Yeah,
so is Aziz
I know it's
taking
a
care of
comedy.
Bill Murray? I guess.
Fucking
What?
That would suck.
What do you mean? It's probably going to be like, Aziz is
It's just
taking
disappointing because one of my friends has written a 30-minute script pre-pandemic.
Literally about the same thing.
Yeah, but it's familial as opposed to it's dealing with your parents aging and going into these scenarios, and it's also a comedy. And now I'm just like, fuck.
I'm
because of
waiting
the pandemic, we never got to actually film it. And it's a really good script, so now I'm like, God damn it! Of course. Now I'm against Aziz. He shouldn't do this. He shouldn't have a career. Sorry.
Do we actually think it's going to be good though?
I mean, Bill Murray doesn't Bill Murray doesn't do shitty.
Yeah, but Aziz directed
films.
Master of None, and it was trash.
That was different, though. I don't think he wrote Master of None. Not that I think he wrote this, but
he did.
He did write Master of None.
No, he did write this.
I mean, well, Master of None season 3 wasn't. It was bad. For me, it was bad because I went into it thinking it was going to be something different. So that's all.
I'm lying. He didn't write it. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. We don't know what's going on.
No. He will. He will also write the screenplay and produce the movie. Okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
I just find it weird.
He will write it.
That's his first. This is his. I mean, I'm sure this is not his first. Maybe it is, or maybe it's not. But like to do a book movie, I don't understand.
It's his first feature It's his directorial debut.
It's such a weird directorial. Unless this is his like favorite book of all time. I don't see why somebody like him would do this. Other than like, I'm sure he's got a million ideas that he can make his first movie about.
Or
go ahead.
You're giving him a whole lot of credit, and he's got nothing, buddy.
Just like me.
I don't have faith in it. I don't think it's going to be good. He did not do a good job directing Master of None. He didn't.
It wasn't good.
Well, but maybe he'll get better.
In his defense, it was shot during the pandemic. They only had those still cameras for the entire time. A lot of the shots.
Yeah, because he chose to. They had the budget to not have that. That was a director decision. Exactly why it's going to be shit.
This was like they shot this in the middle of like COVID.
You can't tell me that it doesn't matter if it's shot in the middle of a pandemic. You can't tell me they can't get a better camera. Like, look at Bo Burnham.
Hey, Eric.
What's up?
You want to know what else was shot in the middle of the pandemic?
Go ahead.
The Batman.
So is the Spider-Man movie, Eric.
Literally, every. I want you to understand. I went on to look at fucking notes for the show to put on the doc. Literally everything that we could possibly talk about this episode was Batman related. It was just pissing me off. It was like, what do you think about that after credits scene? What do you think about this ending scene? What do you think about this? What about the review of Batman? And I'm like, fuck, we can't talk about any of this shit.
Well, Eric, had you bought the tickets and maybe given me an extra $50, I would have gone seen the movie with you today.
Damn, you only got paid,
talked about it.
You only got paid $50 today? Damn.
No, I got a lot more than 50, but I would have probably been like, oh, oops, I'm hurt.
I'm hurt. Batman
if I made some money, I don't need you to pay my whole check because I know you can't do that. Essentially,
you want to go see Batman?
An easy out. Yeah, I'll see Batman.
I love you, Jake.
Well, that's weird.
Well, this has been the Whole for Everything podcast. This is episode 26. We're glad you came again, all 7 of you. Our numbers are dropping by the episode, but we're happy that you're here. Nobody laughed at that, so that just sounded really sad. Hello to my mother, who is one of the 7 people.
Laugh at that?
All of us.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
All right.
It wasn't even set up like a joke.
Buddy.
It was like,
yeah, it really did seem like Eric's actually appropriate rolling us out for once, and I'm just going to do that. And then,
I am pre-rolling us out.
Then you had to call attention to it.
No, I can't leave. In real life, I can't leave the room unless people laugh, and I can't in the podcast. I can't do it unless people laugh, or nobody's laughed in 4 episodes, so I guess it's no different than right. All right. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming every Monday. Please keep coming every Monday. We're begging you. on our knees to please come back and listen to us every Monday on YouTube and all audio platforms that Jake pays for that I still owe him money for. We'll see you next week.
Too, because I had to upgrade the plan.
Oh, fuck. God damn. I can't even give him the excuse of being broke anymore because I'm working union jobs where I'm getting paid millions. We'll see you next week. This has been a great episode. I'm half tipsy. There's a huge mess behind me, and I'm just realizing that now. Jess is looking.
It just adds to the ambiance.
Jess is looking bug-eyed. I don't even know what she's staring at anymore. Did you roll your blunt?
Staring at your mess.
Did you roll your blunt yet?
I rolled my joint.
We
Yes.
established this. Yeah.
All right.
Right
We'll
here.
see.
It's right here. It's ready to go.
Damn. You just cut half our views because YouTube's gonna.
No, it didn't. It didn't go on me when I was holding it up. I was just holding it up for you guys.
I hope it did. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming. Love you. Adios. You know what we need? We need like
Eric, say bye because the music is not going to be long enough.
No, Jake makes 2 minute long fucking songs.
Just say bye for
that
fuck's
we only
sake.
listen to for 30 seconds because that's all that's allowed.
If Jake's mom is listening, we do say fuck a lot less, by the way. But go ahead, Eric, roll us out.
We'll see you guys next week.
It's hard when Eric does these things, though.
All right. We'll talk to you guys. We're not going to talk to you. We have a guest next week. We did
Say bye.
All right. Bye, guys. See you next week. Adios. Hasta luego. Arrivederci. Jess, you can cut me off whenever you want.